throughout this, kind of boring. It's we definitely pay attention to the big projects that are, really kind of just making it happen. So Scoriox, thank you so much for taking the time to come out and hang out with us, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's all good. Just let me know if my connection to my mic and everything's working okay, because I'm at work. Wait, let me just switch off my Wi-Fi and go to 4G. Just
You
one
are
sec.
loud and clear.
Oh
Yeah, it
yeah.
sounds great, dude.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you back, man. I know it's been a while, and I've been grinding away on my Illuvium Zero land. For me, Illuvium Zero is like my thing. I play a little bit of Overworld too. Not an arena guy, not that good, but it's definitely a really cool ecosystem. And I know there's been a lot of kind of negativity surrounding Illuvium in the past, just because there was a lot of a lot of the community wanted to see certain things, and I just I kind of just wanted to pick your brain about first of all, like what the new updates are about. We can kind of talk about that a little bit, and just what that means for the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about. But the first thing I should mention is that an hour ago, rewards went live again for Illuvium. Okay,
I just
we're
got that
finally back in this phase. Hmm?
yeah. No, I just got the
Yeah,
Finally, yeah, I
notification.
saw the announcement. I can't. I'm super excited to finally see them start turning stuff around.
yeah. So the airdrop phase one, which lasted about 2 months, didn't really work that well as intended. But really, the big thing was that the games themselves just weren't ready, and the council and team and everyone recognized that, stopped that as soon as they could, and now we're finally moving into this new phase. Now the game is still not perfect; it's not ready, but there's actually a major update coming at the start of May, and another major update at the start of June that will bring the Illuvium Arena into its, not necessarily its final form, but into its polished form, into a form that we can go and we can say, okay, is this game as good as Web 2 auto battlers like Dota Underlords or TFT or whatever? And at that stage, I think we'd be comfortable enough saying, yes, it's got all the levels of polish it needs. It's got all the depth of strategy of gameplay that it needs. It's easy enough to download, play, and use strike payments and all the rest of it if you need it. It'll have a battle pass at the start of May is the plan. Some of this is alpha because they get a lot of this information internally. I don't even remember what's public anymore.
Let's go.
So just
So we
just
shouldn't
take that
be
for
we
what you
shouldn't be
will.
live streaming this. Is that what you're saying?
It's fine. It's fine.
uh,
But technically, the council is in charge of the team, so
no, man,
I'm the boss.
we love it, man. No, we really appreciate everything you guys are doing over there. I remember kind of when you became part of the council, and it's the one thing I really want to highlight is just how much they've really kind of taken a look at what the community's been wanting to see, and then just really them executing on it. And again, like we were mentioning big time earlier, because it was a similar thing. It was getting to the point where people wanted to see some changes, and it's just really cool to see the bigger projects back moving in a positive direction.
Hmm. So, Illuvium Arena has had so many overhauls and updates. Some of the major stuff is weapons. Weapons and suits are still in the game, but they're actually going to be changed drastically on how they work. I don't know if that's going to be the May or the June update, but that's all going to be revamped completely. But even the way you get augments items for your alluvials, the strategy in playing them and things like that, there's a lot more verticality to it now. Where before it was like 5 fire units is really good, but now you're trying to get a lot of really big stage 3 units on the board, and it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more enjoyable. I think it's a lot more dynamic because we have drone augments in the game where 3 times throughout a match you get like a board wide effect that you can add to your team. You can re-roll them a little bit of stuff as well. There's a lot more control to it. And basically, you can get like an effect that's like your entire team has healing power and stuff like that, right? And so every game you play is completely different. And then we'll have region selection as well, which will change the rules for the game rather than your individual player for that round. It'll actually change the entire rules of the game for the game that you're playing in, and that'll change time and time again. And then you'll have the weapons, augments, and things. So it'll become way more dynamic. It's already getting there really well, and the UI overhaul and the polish is really nice, and some of the leaks for the new UIs and things are really, really cool as well.
Oh,
And so the
it's
game is
always
getting to that
been
level of
beautiful.
polish now. Mm.
It's always been
I think
beautiful.
It's always been beautiful, but it's never been particularly intuitive. That would be the way I
Yes,
describe it.
agreed.
And now we're getting to that level where it's a lot easier for someone to just pick up and play the game without knowing anything about it. And it's never going to be perfect. There's a lot of alluvials to kind of understand and learn. But a beginner will be able to come in and just play whatever and be like, this was fun. I'm going to try again. And then after 2 or 3 matches, they'll start to learn kind of the ins and outs of all the different characters. But yeah, it's a lot more intuitive now. And then on the overworld side, I'm even particularly excited. Illuvium hired 2 game directors for the overworld. They cut a lot of costs. They reduced their burn by more than half, by about 60-70%, and they're moving faster than ever, which is really nice. And I've seen that a lot with other studios and stuff as well. I saw some information on Bethesda today that was like some of the former game directors at Bethesda were like, yeah, when we had a team of like 100 people, we built Skyrim, and it was really easy to like keep track of what everyone was doing and stuff like that. And then when we ballooned to 500 people, 90% of the day was spent in meetings. You know what I mean? And I think if anyone works in a corporate office or anything like that, I think you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. But Illuvium is a lot leaner. It's a lot more agile. It breaks things a bit more often. Every new patch kind of breaks a bunch of stuff that they fix within 24 hours. But they're a lot more agile, a lot faster. They're getting things out faster. And we've got 2 veteran game developers. One that comes from a background of EVE Online mostly, and one has worked with Blizzard on several of the World of Warcraft expansions. So we have 2 veteran MMO game developers that are now the game directors of the overworld, and they're going to bring the MMO light to life. And even Kieran in his recent tweet said maybe the MMO light will come out way sooner than anyone thinks. They're going to try and reuse as many of the assets as they can, most notably the maps and the worlds. And yeah, they're building it. They had heaps of the like quests and things built out behind the scenes. They just hadn't added them into the game yet and stuff like that. So a lot of work has gone into that. And speaking of Zero, it hasn't had a whole lot of development done to it, a lot of bug fixes and things, but they're included in the weekly rewards that are being distributed. You can actually, by burning fuel, you get your ETH from RevDiz or whatever, but you also participate on the leaderboard. And I believe minting blueprints and things will be included as well. And I hope that a lot of these rewards actually increase the amounts. If this is successful, if players come, they're enjoying the game and everything, this might increase over time as well. So there's never been a better time to jump into Illuvium, learn, practice, and just get involved with the IP because we're finally starting to get to this next phase. But really, I'm mostly excited for the MMO Lite, and I think there's been a lot of criticism on that. I think it's been quite important. And really, they should have focused on the MMO Lite from the beginning, but this is where we're at now, and I can't wait for everything to kind of come together.
I
absolutely.
feel like
And
they
just to,
fell. Sorry, Reptar, go ahead.
oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say, I know we're throwing out a lot of words here, guys, between like Zero, Overworld, MMO. Basically, there. So just for those of you guys who don't know what we're talking about as far as Illuvium, it is an ecosystem of games that are one of them is a city builder, another one is a creature collector, kind of overworld exploring kind of game where
Mhm.
you capture alluvials. The other one is an arena where you're battling with the alluvials that you capture. That's the one that they just overhauled with a bunch of new updates and stuff. They also released one thing that I really loved was that trailer for the drones that they just released, where you can have drones
Mm.
do automated runs for you. And there are other ones like Beyond too, which is kind of like a little collectible card thing. Hint, hint. We might be giving some of the away some of those tonight, guys. But my point is, each game, it kind of what Scoriox was getting at, is they're all kind of feeding into each other. Their economies are all kind of really supporting each other, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but like the city builder, for instance, is generating the fuel, which then is used to travel to the different regions, where you can then
Kinda.
capture the creatures. Yeah, so I'm simplifying it,
Kinda.
of course, for the new people. Yeah, but there's a lot going on in the Illuvium ecosystem. There's tons of different games, and by tons I really mean like four for now, four main ones. Um, But yeah, I mean, they really are kind of revamping all of them, which is just awesome to see.
Yeah, there's been so much progress. Like in Illuvium Beyond, you customize your Illuvatar, which is essentially a profile picture that you can use in across all of the titles. In the overworld, you capture your Illuvials, of course. That's kind of like the hub. Although you can just go on the website and just buy packs of Illuvials now, which is a brand new update that we got less than a week ago. And personally, I'm enjoying it. I think it's a bit of fun. You can try and get some high stat Illuvials. It's not too expensive to get involved with that and stuff like that, which is really cool to see. Then we have the arena, which is essentially our competitive game mode, and it's an auto battler. And then Illuvium Zero, which is the land mini game on the mobile phone, where it's a city builder. And yeah, they all have rewards now. Basically, there's going to be a bounty hunt system for the overworld, which should be really really fun. And yeah, there's so much, and it's kind of a bit hard to focus on focus on them all at once, which is kind of my job and helping disseminate some of that. But that was Illuvium's team as well, as they were building so many products at once, and that was probably the biggest mistake they made coming into this. Like they could have built the arena in a year and then built the MMO Lite in the next 3 years instead of trying to build them all at once. And now they've got this new approach where they focus all of their efforts in one place. And right now they're focusing them on Arena. When that wraps up in June, July, they'll put everyone back onto the MMO Lite and we'll smash that out and see where it takes us. There is a caveat. If the Arena sees massive success and people are really enjoying it, they'll probably actually focus on the mobile version of that first. But all, that being said, they've actually optimized all the assets. Everything is ready for mobile. Actually, they've done like 99% of them, let's say. Everything is ready for mobile, but they've also got optimized assets for PC as well, which I think is really cool. So I don't know when that's going to be finished, but when that's ready, it'll actually make it way easier for the game to run on people's PCs and different PC hardware for the arena in particular, not necessarily for the overworld. And so there's just a lot of focus on getting the game playable, player acquisition, and we're going to finally start seeing if that all kind of pans out how it will. Even before rewards drop, the arena player numbers actually started increasing. I believe I was doing the meeting minutes the other day. I believe it's like to me,
You're cutting in and out on us, Scorias.
like uh,
I've lost Scorias. Is it just me?
beforehand.
I'm still here. I will the one thing
He's
that
coming back. There we go.
yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, we'll get him back up here. Cool.
Let me
Nice.
see if that works.
Yep.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Apparently, it was just some of us. I said you were just fine on his. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on there.
And that's the thing, dude. I think
Really
it's
weird.
Blame
probably
Discord.
just it's Discord. I mean, I love blaming Discord. It's the best. Yeah. But anyway, man, I'm sorry. What were you saying? You were kind of getting into. You were talking about the mobile, and one thing I will say is I play it on my phone all the time. Like this isn't a game that you guys have to invest like thousands of hours into to get some kind of return on. You know, there's an iOS app. There's a yes, randomize, please. And basically there is just it's so easy to get into the ecosystem now, and with the amount of polish, you know, again, like, you know, we've always been in a lot of gaming projects for a long time, and you know, this is I don't know if you guys, a lot of you saw, but this was our 3-year anniversary a few days ago, um as a project, and we have just seen a lot of success stories and we've seen a lot of failures. And really, it's when these projects stop building and they stop listening to the community, like that's when I see a lot of these projects die. I was surprised. I was shocked to see what happened with Animoca and Phantom Galaxies. You know, there. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the channel. You know, there's just some of these projects, they struggle and they don't make it, and so it's really amazing to not only see such a polished game, but something that's so easy for like Web 2 people to get into, where they can just download an app on their phone and, you know, purchase a land and they're good to go, you know, like, and then they have their foot in the door.
So when I was talking about mobile, I was actually focusing on the arena, which could have a mobile version get expedited if the game's highly successful. But like
Even
it's
more amazing.
yeah, which would be super easy for them to play as well, of course, right?
Yeah.
But like it's funny you say that about our games running out of funding, going under, and things like that. That's part of the reason that Illuvium has so many haters and so much FUD lately and things like that. Is we actually talk about this stuff openly, and it should actually be like appreciated more, and it's quite sad. Like really, with Illuvium, we have a burn report every month, and we show how much the DAO is spending on different things, and where the money is going, and how much we have left, and what our runway looks like, and stuff like that. And we just almost tripled our runway with all the cuts and things that Kieran and the team have done. So they're not letting this game go away anytime soon. But you have a game like Phantom Galaxies, and there was another one that was like what was it, Dead Drop and things like that, where they're just like randomly they'll drop a tweet and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we're out, we're done, we ran out of money, bye." And it's like
Out of nowhere.
they weren't transparent with their communities at all. And Illuvium's really transparent, but it makes everyone get all mad. They're like, "Oh, is Illuvium going to go bankrupt?" Because we're like actively talking about this stuff, and we're like, "This is what's happening. This is how we're going." And it's just really sad that we're copying so much hate for it when companies that like just disappear out of nowhere, everyone's just like, "Oh, that's really sad. I really like that project." It's like,
Spider tanks.
yeah, well, I mean, they could have told you in advance, but they chose not to.
Right.
Is
And
that
it's
really
sad,
something you want to glorify?
yeah, because you know, I mean, I know you've been here before, so you kind of have a feel for what we're about, but you know, we really enjoy playing a lot of these games as a community and like in the voice chats and stuff. You know, we're playing a lot of big time right now, but we were playing tons of Phantom Galaxies and Spider Tanks and all these other really fun games that honestly like the community loved. Like Phantom Galaxies was so awesome. It was such a great game, and the mechs were all like there was so much detail in them, and they just it had everything going for it, and then the economy just was not successful, and that's what happened. They kind of just ran out of money, and then Animoca refused to continue funding them. So it's just it's so comforting when I hear you know, like what you just said, like with Illuvium, because big time is the same way. Like I think at this point in crypto, if you're not transparent with people, you're just gonna fail as a project, because the days of like, you know, the pump and dump games are just not, you know, that's kind of how we got started. We got in on a project, I won't say names, but the chat probably will. And we you know, we heavily invested into this project, and they just kind of failed. Like, and there, a lot of things had happened. I think they're still trying to do stuff, but um, you know, there are 98% of these projects are going to fail, and I think most of us here know that. But that's why when we see things like Illuvium and Big Time, and you know, even like Off the Grid, like you want to look more into that, and some other games that we've been kind of having on our list, and some ones that we want to get back into. But you know, Illuvium has been popping up in my feed over and over again, and I saw that they had a lot of stuff coming, and I just kind of Scorex, if you don't mind, just talking a little bit about Wildfire, just for anyone who doesn't know about, you know, like the guilds and Illuvium and stuff like that.
Yeah, Wildfire's slowed down a little bit. We've all been really busy with other things. But Wildfire is the guild I'm the leader of, and I have a great team of people that helps me out with everything, things like that. We host a tournament every now and then. Some of the other Illuvium guilds are hosting tournaments more frequently at the moment, but really all of the guilds in the Illuvium community are given money from Illuvium to host fun grassroots tournaments where we can organize it ourselves and have a bit of fun, and it's really good. It's something I think not enough games are doing. They're not really giving the power to the people to actually take the reins of some of this stuff, because Well, Illuvium has quite a small marketing team right now, and they don't have enough people or time to host 20 tournaments a month. You know what I mean? And by giving that power to all the guilds and things like that, you can really do that, and you can build the strength between them as well. And yeah, Wildfire, we're just a fun place to hang out if you enjoy Web3 gaming. We've been playing a lot. We play a lot of Illuvium, but we also play some other things. I'm super into Pirate Nation, so I try and get people involved in that. We have some that are really into Spellborn. If anyone enjoys Spellborn, I play a little bit of that as well. So I want to start getting things back up and running with all that. But really, we're just welcome to everyone. You could be in 500 guilds if you want. We really don't care. We do have a bit of a membership process that I need to revamp soon. But yeah, no, it's just if you want to meet like-minded people or learn more about Illuvium, everyone in there is super knowledgeable about Illuvium, so that's probably a really good place to be if you don't want to get bogged down in the Illuvium Discord side of things, where everyone's just talking about token price. We don't really talk about that in our
Not financial
guild,
advice, but it's a
thankfully.
great time to buy that token.
You know what, man? Like I will be the first one to say I got wrecked on the token, but they were
Yeah,
figuring
me
they're
too.
still figuring things out. You know, like
Yeah.
they a lot of people it's the nature of the industry, but I think that where it is now compared to where it could go back to if a lot of this is successful. I mean, you know, the tokenomics may have changed a little bit. Maybe not. I honestly I haven't looked that far into the tokenomic side of things, but I remember what it was before when we were staking, and it just I think it's just it's an easy safe bet in Web3 because when I look at the other projects that are in Web3, there I can count the good ones on one hand, and Illuvium is definitely one of them.
Yeah, I think my investing strategy, like everyone got wrecked on every gaming project ever. Like I don't think Illuvium is an exception, despite what people inside a Discord might want to say,
I
right?
did okay with the
Everyone, I
token.
got insanely wrecked. All right, let's put it that way. But let me put it this way. Moving forward in terms of an investing strategy, I would say that the older tokens and the older projects are really important. Okay. I wouldn't be jumping into like it's a rough time to be launching a game right now. Unless you're a game like Off the Grid that's been building for 4 or 5 years and you built up a community or the rest of it. If some random person's shilling you some random game you've never seen before that's just launching out of nowhere and they don't have like major communities that actually care about the project, like Fishing Frenzy had a lot of surrounding communities that actually give a shit about them. If they're not like that, then I would stay very far away. They've got high floats, coals and things dumping on you and things like that. And they're going to be releasing tons of tokens and completely diluting the crap. Like Illuvium, Parallel, Star Atlas and stuff, they've already diluted their tokens completely. Pretty much everything is circulating. And so really, if the gaming bull run and stuff returns, it's really only up for some of these older projects. But really, they've got foundations, a strong team, they've got a lot of things already built or building, and they understand the space much better than someone who's coming in fresh because this has been the most brutal market, bear market ever. So just like it doesn't have to be Illuvium or anything like that, but just if you're still interested in gaming and gaming tokens, be very wary of new projects that you don't know much about and you don't know what they're capable of yet. Because I think the seasoned ones and the ones that have proven themselves to a certain extent are going to be the focus moving forward.
Well, exactly right,
I
because you cannot build a game. I know you can build a token in 40 seconds, but it takes years to build a successful game. That has not changed. You can't all of a sudden, oh, I'm just going to make a Web3 game and it's going to be completely polished and finished. So everybody that's been here for the last 4 or 5 years slogging it out, and the teams haven't quit and haven't bailed and haven't rugged. Like you're exactly what you're saying. They're here. They're still building. They're 4 or 5 years ahead of these people. That are like, hey, I've got this new gaming token. Yeah, you might get lucky, but you're gonna get wrecked.
Here's what everyone misses and everyone seems to ignore. It takes maybe 4 years to build a game, but it takes multiple decades to build a studio. And like, because I saw all this and it annoyed the crap out of me. But do you remember when Palworld launched and they hit 12 million players on their first day or whatever it
It
was, right?
crushed it. Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, Illuvium should have just done that." Obviously, Illuvium should have done that. No one's. I'm not a dumbass. I know that. Everyone knows that. But people were like, "Oh, this team of like 100 people built this in 3 years." It's like, no, 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 no. They didn't build this in 3 years. They built it in 8 years because they used pretty much all the existing tech they had from their failed game that they launched 4 years ago, right? So studios, games themselves and studios themselves are an iterative process. You make failed games over and over, and eventually you learn from all those mistakes enough and build something that works and is highly successful. That's just how it is. Even like Off the Grid is obviously a bit of an outlier, but even like Parallel and stuff, I don't think Parallel is a particularly good game. I think it's a decent TCG, but it's not quite there. But I think in 2 or 3 years, they're going to have a game that's either going to be enhanced TCG of some kind or one of their other games that's going to be really, really good because they're actually a really competent and solid studio overall. I think that eventually in the long run is going to what is makes them successful. And it's the same for Illuvium and many other things, Star Atlas and stuff as well. A studio and a game are two very different things. Like even FromSoft probably made a bunch of failed games. Like Dark Souls 1 wasn't received very well when it first came out, but everyone looks back on it and says we fucking love that game. The studios take a long time to become successful. Sometimes you have a one-hit wonder sort of game, but it's very, very rare.
And it's not the new game with the new token that comes out at the height of this next bull run is not going to be it. Unless it's GTA 6. It's not going to be it.
Exact. And something that Skoriak said earlier about the 4 years it takes to build a good game. Sometimes it's even longer. Some of these games are in 7-year development cycles, and it basically, Reptar wins the prize. Give me the disc.
Bro,
now.
you didn't even join. You got to click the swords, Reptar. You're the bounty.
Oh no. I thought I won. They're like, Reptar, don't join the game.
No.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yes, I will. Damn it, I'm sorry.
I got this next one ice since Reptar. You have to click the swords this time.
Yeah, we'll do marbles after this too, guys. But yeah, one thing I want what I was saying is just it takes so long to build a good game, and that's I think that's kind of what Scoriox is getting at is like, if you see a game just come out of nowhere, they have years of struggle ahead of them. Beta, open beta, second beta, fourth beta, ninth beta. It's just like, Big Time's been in beta for like 3 years, and technically so is Illuvium. So it's if a new game launches, they have a long, long road ahead of them with a lot of challenges that, other games have kind of already figured out. So and yeah, Serum City too. I mean, Far Away. I don't know how familiar you are with them, Scoriox. That's another one that we're really into that I haven't mentioned yet. It's another ecosystem of games. It's kind of like I don't want to say a spin-off of Yuga Labs. It's like a subsidiary, I guess, or a partnership with Yuga Labs. And they use the IP to do different things like they're called Codas and Kodamaras and some other things. There's a city builder as well, similar to Illuvium Zero, which is kind of how we got into it. It's an awesome ecosystem, man. It really is. And I know you are spread very thin, so you don't have time for another game, but definitely look into it a little bit because Far Away is definitely something that has really like jumped out to us as well. But that's why if you're really like kind of what he was saying, if you are looking at getting into Web3 games, there are incredibly built projects with really big futures ahead of them in the coming years, and they're very, very close to having finished, polished products, which is like really exciting because we've been in these games for so long, just waiting and going through all the hurdles and struggle that a lot of people that play this game might never have seen because they're going to be new players playing a brand new release. So it's going to be really cool to see, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all of it. Another one's Futureverse. I don't like pay super heaps attention to it, but I keep tabs on Open. Obviously, I had a sponsorship with them for a bit. And yeah, so I love there's a lot of really great people building in Web3. There just really is. And I'm looking forward to seeing where they all go. But it's hard out there. I speak to Animositas often, CEO of Lizard Labs. Love the lizards. but he gives us reports on kind of where everyone's heads is at and stuff like that because he has a B2B they have a B2B like game publisher and stuff like that. And it's really hard out there. So just everyone be careful. I'm fully wrecked. I'm probably Bitcoin maxi at the end of this cycle. But yeah,
Fully wrecked, he says. Oh, and that's the thing, dude. Like, I know we've been talking a lot about games, but we're into, we're looking at a lot of the bigger coins with everything being down. And a lot of the one thing that really kind of sticks out to us a lot is like the exchanges and things like real world asset tokens, like HBAR, Hedera, and kind of, obviously XRP's talked about a lot, but there's a lot of other ones as well. But there are so many amazing discounts on really, really safe projects. So it's like, I'm definitely kind of shopping around right now because I'm seeing these games come back. I'm seeing the markets maybe get a little bit of excitement back. And I'm really kind of looking where I want to. Yeah, that's rough. I'm looking at where, I kind of want to position myself. And, the gaming is just something that we've really been involved with for a long time. So we're really excited to kind of get back into some of these ecosystems.
Yeah, play to
yeah, and
earn
I
is
can't
the
wait.
dream.
I can't wait to get more into Illuvium Arena because the rewards are live. Honestly don't really care about the rewards that much, but hopefully this brings the queue times down. The only bad thing about Arena has been that you had to like wait like 20 minutes for a queue sometimes at the non-peak times, and that was just really fucking annoying. But if that comes down, I can't wait.
Congrats, Roy,
Yeah.
on your win there.
So JC, what are you rocking for a land right now?
Okay, so yeah, this is I'm not super happy, although I understand the timing and I think Illuvium just had a huge vision and bit off more than they could chew at the very beginning. But Illuvium
Yeah,
Zero is my jam, and I've got I've got a tier 3, I've got a tier 4, and I've got a mega city, a 2x2 mega city. And with the recent changes, they have made it a lot easier on me to do less managing. All I have to do is just burn fuel. That's all I do is burn fuel. Cool, easy, but I think they bit off way more than they could chew with the whole. I was all in on the whole ecosystem. Each game feeds each other game, and there's a free economy back and forth. And I think it was just too big of a vision for the team to put together, and that's okay. And I do have confidence that they'll get it straightened out. But yeah, I'm definitely down on what I bought my lands for.
Scoriox is like, oh my god, yes, I know.
I'm down
And
too.
yeah,
But
and
it's
that's
interesting.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
It's interesting because even though the vision was a bit too grand, it wasn't so much that the vision was too grand. It was the way they tackled the challenge. Instead of building like arena and making it a good, polished, finished game first, and then moving on to land and then moving on to the overworld or whatever it might have been, they tried to build them all at once.
Yeah,
And for anyone who's worked on multiple projects at once, it sucks. Like imagine having a dev and they work on some code for Arena, and now all of a sudden they do some code for Overworld. Splitting the focus like that kills your productivity so damn much. I think that was part of the problem as well.
yeah.
But yeah,
Nothing gets polished. Like they're all mediocre, and nothing is good. And
mm,
so
Exactly.
now that they're focusing, I think you're right. I think the arena is the place to start, especially if they can get into a competitive. Gosh, I can't for the life of me can't think of the term. Like for lack of a better term, like Major League
like
Gaming.
an,
But
like an esportsy
the
thing.
esports,
Yes,
thank you,
of
was the
course.
word I
Yeah.
was looking for. If they can get into that realm, and we talk about it a lot here, is that when people when the general population is playing a game and making money and has no idea that there's any type of Web3, like nobody gives a crap about TCP/IP. Nobody knows what that means. They just send emails. Nobody cares that they're using a blockchain. They just care that they're getting paid to win a video game. So when we get to that point, and I think Arena is the place to do that, and then like you're saying that Arena can be um, the main focus to where mass adoption comes in, and then you can feed that through the overworld where you're capturing alluvials. You can feed that through Zero where you're mining the fuel to play. I was a little bummed that the initial plan for Illuvium Zero was not just, hey, the only fuel available will be whatever is mined in Zero, and that I think would have been the ultimate free economy. But I understand the need for also price controls, and you don't want the guy that owns 64,000 lands controlling the price. And I get it. You're trying to find the balance in the economy there, but it's that's why I don't create economic ecosystems. So
Oh, the problem with that was like land, in my opinion, maybe should never have really been created. But the problem was that 100% of revenues initially, 100% of revenues were to go to staking token holders, which I think is like what every single crypto project should do always. I don't know why they don't. It's a pretty big it's a pretty big utility for a token. I can't stand a token without utility. So many of them are so fucking useless. It gives me the crap. It gives me
Absolutely.
shit so
90%
much.
what?
Um, but having land control the entire economy would have taken that away. That was the initial promise, and so they couldn't really do that. They'd managed to take away 5% for land. And yeah, the fluctuating economy and stuff didn't really work. It works at scale. Most things work at scale, if we're being completely honest, but without scale, and it just doesn't really function. But maybe it could return in the future. You never know.
Yeah, and I like what they're doing now. The initial, and I feel like it's throwing a bone, but also a recognition of, hey, this is not where we want to be, but this is at least the core of what we did. Was when the Illuvium team is selling fuel, the rev share portion of that is going to the landowners. Um, but yeah, we were talking about the token price. Reptar and I both bought our first Illuvium token over $550, $600,
600
and
bucks.
yeah, one token $600. And so like as we averaged down as it went down, it was made up, and I've come out on top of my Illuvium token prices just by the staking, because I staked everything, and I staked it for 6 months, or I staked it for a year, and obviously they stopped staking 8 9 months ago, but I made enough Illuvium that it covered for that ridiculous entry price. So yeah, just the staking, and hopefully we can see some legislative and regulatory changes that make that commonplace across all of crypto and Web3.
Hmm. So Abel Gaming had a really good question. This is a question that comes up a lot in crypto gaming. So Abel asked, can you lay out what a new player would need to do in order to compete in the arena or gauntlet for the event? Drone runs overworld, how many alluvials they need to compete, and maybe a decent starting lineup of alluvials. That's a really good question. Okay, so Illuvium's arena is split into two sections, and we haven't really seen one of them go live yet. But the two of them are like Ranked Gauntlet and Leviathan Gauntlet. And Ranked is completely free to play, no ownership of any kind required at all. Okay, basically just jump in and play. Leviathan takes into account the alluvials you own, but it's a little bit tricky because you kind of need to own a lot of them since it just uses what's in your wallet, right? One game you might need to play a Thea, and one game you might need to play an Adorius because you're playing a different style in that game. But you can really buy like a full fire team or something like that and focus on trying to get fire every single time you play the Leviathan if you wanted to. But really, only rewards are coming to Gauntlet Ranked at the very start. In about 4 or 5 weeks, Leviathan will kick off. But really, the big part of the rewards is going to be the tournaments. And there's going to be a factor of a few different things. So the top, I believe it's always subject to change, and I think it's shifting a bit. But the top 64, 128, the top, a lot of players in the Gauntlet ranked leaderboard are going to be essentially invited to a tournament every single month where there's like thousands and thousands of ILV up for grabs for the winners of that competition. And you need no ownership at all for that. But the more tighter tournament will be Leviathan, which will have similar prize pools, less players invited, but also less players competing since you need to own a good team to be able to compete in it. And that'll have really high prize pools as well. But just for the Gauntlet ranked leaderboard, you don't need to do anything. Just jump in, play the game, try and win, try and get a high rank, and you'll just get a payout every single week. As for the overworld and ADR, it'll be bounty hunts. So maybe the Atlas Alluvial or Tier 1 Alluvials will be the focus for a given week. And then the more of them you get, the higher on the leaderboard. So that could be a little bit pricey. I haven't been able to do the maths on the cost efficiency of that sort of thing yet, and I'll definitely be doing that for videos on my channel. I can't wait. But yeah, we don't really quite know how it's going to look. As for Leviathan, it's an interesting one. You can just get good stat alluvials. Just look at the TPI; it's decently accurate on the Alluvidex, and really you can just. What people miss is you don't really need that many stage 3 alluvials. Most of your alluvials will actually stay stage 2 throughout the entirety of the match. There's some really big ones you might want, things like a Jotun or a Sphere. Good idea for a video though. I might make a video on this, but really I would just focus on a really good archetype. Look at other people's content. They're much better arena players than me, so try and find their content on YouTube, and you'll definitely find some really good stuff on the sorts of teams they're using, the sort of how the meta shifting at any given time. But really, you just need a lot of like decent stat stage 2 alluvials, and then the occasional stage 3. Me personally, I go for Scoriox every game. I know I'm biased because of my name, but Scoriox is actually one of the best alluvials in the game and has been for a very long time. Some of their really good alluvials are like but they need to be good and not too hard to get onto the board. Like Tier 5 stage 3s, you can really only get one of them onto the board a match. They're really hard to get two before the match ends. Tier 4 stage 3s, you can maybe get two on the board at most. And then Tier 1 stage 3s are the other ones that you should be watching. So like an Axodon or like a Gyro. Some of your Tier 1 stage 3s I would definitely acquire. The occasional Tier 3 stage 3, but mostly the Tier 3 stage 2s are all really good, and the Tier 4 stage 2s as well. And then you're really only going for one Tier 5 at a time since they fit into one archetype each, right? If you're going for a lot of mages, they're called Scions in Illuvium, you would just need the Sin Elf and the Sin Elf and the Octus. But if you're going for a really tanky play, you would just need Golion, or if you're going for a really offensive, aggressive play, you would need just Ram Fight or Forest sort of thing. So really, you can kind of pick the way you like to play generally. It will make it a little bit harder for you to win if you only have a few alluvials, because what if a drone augment comes up that really synergizes well with fighter alluvials? Then you're going to want to play fighter that match. Or you can re-roll it and cost some of your economy to try and get something different. So you can play around it and really focus on one archetype every game, but it's going to make it harder for you to win. But it's definitely possible. But really, yeah, you can play free to play, dude.
It's just amazing how far even the website